The weather here in the Greater Edmonton area has been hot right now, but in June we saw the total sales cool a little bit. They were actually down 11.4% month over month. So why the sudden decline when we've been seeing such a crazy real estate market this year so far? Well, stay tuned and I am going to tell you. If you're considering buying or selling property in the near future, I've got the information that you need on what's happening in the summer real estate market. Watch to the end of this video for some insight on how the current market could affect your real estate goals. The total number of residential sales came in at 2,847, which was, like I said, 11.4% lower than what we saw in May. So why the decline after months and months of increases? Well, this is something we see very typically in June in the Greater Edmonton area real estate market. Sales here are very cyclical and they definitely follow the seasons. So the strongest months in our market, well, it tends to ramp up in February and then typically peak between March and May. We have a short summer season here, so most people want to get out and enjoy it while they can. And buyers also want to get settled in the warmer weather months before school starts. So it makes more sense for them to purchase in the spring for a summer move. That being said, we were still 10% higher in sales for June 2024 when we compare it to 2023. So the market is still going strong. It's just not blowing the doors off like it was a couple of months ago. New listings also decreased in June, which makes sense. It's to be expected. There were 3,712 new listings in June, which was a 12.2% decrease month over month. However, we were up 2.3% in June when we compare it to last year. We are still in a seller's market and a low inventory situation overall. We had an increase in inventory from 1.8 months that we saw in May to 2.09 months that we saw in June, so that seller's market is still persisting. A balanced market sits at about 4 to 6 months of inventory, so we are well below that. If you have a property to list, it's definitely not too late. I can confirm from a boots on the ground perspective that there are still tons of buyers out there. And the great news about June is that the prices remain steady. So if you have a house to sell, even though we saw a decrease in overall activity, you could still maintain that higher asking price for your property. So speaking of pricing, that brings us to average price. The average price for a home in the Greater Edmonton area right now is sitting at $439,000 when you factor in all residential sales, whereas in May it was at $441,000. So this number remained quite steady from a month over month perspective. When compared to June of 2023, housing prices are actually still up 6.6% overall. Breaking it down by housing category, detached homes sold for an average of $539,000, duplexes sold for an average of $422,000, and townhouses for $290,000. To break it down even further, looking at month over month sales, detached homes were down 1.3%, duplexes up 2%, and row housing was down 1.5%. So these prices have been very stable, as I mentioned, month over month with very little change there. The average days on market has decreased again to 30 days. That's what we want to see, that homes are moving faster, so a decrease in those days. It was taking 33 days for a property to sell on average in May, so inventory is continuing to move quickly. To compare, the average days on market in June of last year was sitting at 41 days, so that is a big year-over-year improvement for June. So in terms of trends, as is expected for the June market, new listings and therefore sales decreased overall, but it was great to see that those prices remained strong and that we saw a stronger market overall this June compared to June of last year. So sellers, have you been considering listing your property? Depending on what you have to sell, this market could still be extremely lucrative for you. Properties priced under that $500,000 mark are continuing to see more activity, higher sales overall. Time is of the essence though, so if you're thinking of listing your property as the summer rolls on and we get closer to our fall market, the things typically start petering off and it decreases. And we've already seen this begin to happen in June. As I said, most buyers prefer to move in the summer before the kids are back in school. So if you're thinking about selling, TikTok, let's make this happen. For buyers, the same advice stands again for this month. That is, as always, to be prepared. You'll need a pre-approval and a realtor. Unrepresented buyers will really struggle to make a purchase in this seller's market. It makes more sense to have someone who's representing you and your interest that's on your side, as opposed to just calling the listings you see on realtor.ca and hoping that the seller's agent does a good job representing you. General market updates are great, but if you're looking for a more personalized evaluation on how the current market impacts you in the area that you live and according to your personal real estate goals, I'd be happy to talk about it. Send me an email and let's start the conversation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.